Hi guys, I'm Mike.
And I'm Stephen.
And this is F1 Fanatics. Welcome back to driver ratings, and this is the driver ratings of yesterday's Bahrain GP. And before we start, the main thing that has to be said about the Bahrain GP is that after that kind of horrendous crash, that Romain Grosjean walked away with his life, and he's okay, and just has, not just as, it's still kind of bad, but having minor burns to the back of his hands. But considering the state of the accident, walking away with just minor burns to the hands is a miracle.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Not bad at all.
He hasn't done bad out of that.
He was making laugh and joking hostile afterwards in typical Roman fan, but it was fantastic to see him all right and all the kind of medical staff get him out of that kind of crazy incident okay. But yes, we move on to our driver ratings, which is where we give the drivers on the grid a rating out of 10 for their race performance. And, well, Stephen, I hand it over to you first, and I believe first up, funnily enough, is Haas.
Yeah, Romain Grosjean, 10 out of 10. I guess no score, but yeah, as we mentioned, incredible effort by everyone that Romain is alive today. But yes, no score for Romain because he didn't finish the race. Kevin Magnussen, just it's a terrible car. It's a terrible car. I mean, he looked decent at some points. Wasn't he up to like 13th or 12th at one point?
He was up to 12th at one point, and that was after having to change his front wing because after Lance Stroll had flipped his car, Vettel broke and Magnussen was behind and his front wing went into the back of Vettel. So he had to pit for that. It was just one of those days with Haas that, things weren't going to go right.
Going to give I want to say a 7 because it's not his fault. He had moments of good fighting, but the car's garbage.
It is. It certainly is.
That's my Haas roundup.
Garbage. Who was next up?
Next up is, of course... No, not of course. It's Alfa Romeo, P15 and P16 for Kimi Räikkönen and Antonio Giovinazzi.
Giovinazzi finished ahead? Or no?
No, he went below.
So, yeah, Giovinazzi's difficult because Giovinazzi would have finished ahead of Kimi Räikkönen, but Alfa Romeo thought there was going to be an end to the race and put him on fresher tyres. But there wasn't, and the race finished under safety car. So he was ahead of teammate Kimi Räikkönen and then went behind him by having to pit again. Kimi as well, it's a bit like Haas, this one. It's a terrible car. Yeah. It's really difficult to judge where their performance is.
Obviously, he had that front wing damage he was nursing for the first part of the race.
Yeah, and he held up Bottas for a good part of the race as well. I think most of them have had decent races for their respective cars. I'm going to go 7 out of 10 for both. I think it's probably a fair result for both the Alfa Romeo boys. Nice.
Moving on to Williams in P14 for Nicholas Latifi and P12 for George Russell. George Russell not getting points again. Gutted. But they both improve on qualifying positions, I guess. P12, P14 is probably like one of their best combined results, I have a feeling.
Yeah.
It sounds like it, so, decent.
Let's just put it out there that it is. And then we'll leave it to you to correct us if it's wrong.
But yeah, great. I was going to say, great day for Williams, P12! No, it's a decent day. Double finishing okay, and
in recent times, that is a decent result.
I'm just saying, it's all over a mess. But both did good jobs to improve on their qualifying things. So 7's all round for everyone.
Our favourite score today is clearly just 7 out of 10. Have another 7 out of 10 for you. Bang, right at you.
Sometimes you get 6s for that. We're giving you a 7 today.
Absolutely.
Well done, guys.
Well done. Brilliant.
Next up, you have to give sevens to Sebastian Vettel in P13 and Charles Leclerc in P10, getting the last World Championship point.
I really don't know.
Don't give them a 7. Give them a 7.
Vettel complained, didn't he, after the second restart after the red flag, that Charles Leclerc did something. Looking at the replay, didn't really see what Charles Leclerc got wrong.
No.
Vettel just felt the car was undrivable.
Yeah, he said it was a completely different car than what he's been driving the last 2 days.
Yeah. So...
maybe he got damaged somewhere that we don't know about.
Potentially, with Lance's car flipping over right in front of him. And that held him up at the second start as well, because obviously he loses those positions before the yellow flag comes out. No fault of his own. His part of the track was blocked by an overturned car.
Yep.
So I suppose he's done well to get... I think he is a 7 out of 10. I know... Oh, my God.
Let's just go on to Charles Leclerc. Don't give him a 7, though.
No, Charles Leclerc, I think, is an 8 out of 10 because he did get up into the upper echelons of the points. I think at stages he was running as high as 6th. But yeah, obviously he fell away after having to do pit stops and everything, and cars being better than Ferrari. God help them next week. Yes, I think 8 out of 10 for Charles Leclerc. Again, outperforming his teammate, was out-qualified by his teammate on the Saturday, so impressive to finish ahead by 3 positions and claim another point in the championship for himself and Ferrari.
Yes, fantastic. Moving on to...
It wasn't a 7. It wasn't a 7.
AlphaTauri with KVYAT P11. And I just realised we should have done a team. I'll give them to you next. And then Gasly P6. A fantastic drive by Gasly. I'll start with KVYAT P11. P11.
He had a 10-second penalty, so I think he's done pretty well to get P11.
And was it really deserved? After Charles Leclerc got away with a similar incident with Lance Stroll, same guy taking out the race, but no penalty. But KVYAT gets smacked with a penalty.
Difference is KVYAT flipped him,
and it wasn't lap 1.
No, but was it
lap 1? It'd be fine.
But it kind of was lap 1.
It technically wasn't lap 1, and so it's not free for all.
Yeah, I don't know. I like KVYAT's put himself there. I think Martin Brundle was saying it on commentary. It's fair enough.
Decent recovery drive, I guess. Fine, he can have a 7. Okay, it's the day of 7s. Remember this, the Monday of 7s. Because KVYAT gets a 7, because I don't want to be too mean to him. I don't think the penalty is black and white, smack. He should have got it.
I think a 5-second penalty would have been fair.
President.
I think a 10-second penalty. Because didn't Albon get a 5-second penalty when he did a similar sort of thing to Magnussen at the British Grand Prix? So I think, look, it's fair enough. KVYAT's caused a collision. He's got someone out of the race. But I thought 10-second was harsh. Because I'm pretty sure the president all season has been like a 5-second penalty.
Or no seconds.
Well, yeah, correct. On that basis. So he seems to be very harshly treated for that. And he probably would have gotten the points if not for that penalty. And also, through no fault of his own, he was a passenger in the Romain Grosjean incident.
Yeah. 100% that wasn't his fault.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Grosjean's come into him.
But, you know, that must have shook him up a little bit in terms of, you know, seeing a car just like fly across him was a little bit mental. So, and I'm sure he must have got some sort of damage from that as well.
Yeah, but I presume he would have fixed that because it was front.
Potentially, I suppose.
But yes, on to Pierre Gasly finishing in P6. AlphaTauri went bold. They went long on the hard tyres and kind of got saved at the end because Ricciardo probably was going to make the move on Gasly at the end. But still, P6, P7, fantastic drive. I want to go for a 9 out of 10. Maybe that's too much, but I think it was a fantastic drive. He was one of the only ones that made a one-stop work. Even though he was saved by a safety car a little bit, I think he still performed the one-stop very well.
He drove fantastic, absolutely. Yeah, really did do a fantastic job. When the Renault's Racing Points and McLaren's were clearly the better car than the AlphaTauri this week, to get himself amongst the pigeons, shall we say, in between the Renault's? Was it? What was ahead of
Renault's
the Renault's?
behind, McLaren's in front. Yep.
So yeah, to split those two, McLaren would be very happy with Pierre Gasly, and Renault would be very frustrated in terms of that front. But yes, there you go.
Yep.
Who's up next?
You get the quick and easy Racing Points.
Oh. Oh dear. Well, Lance.
One's on fire and one's upside down.
Yeah.
Where do you start?
Well, let's start with Lance. No score because his car got flipped over. Unlucky. Not his fault. Just a racing incident. These things happen. It just turned out that it wasn't meant to be Racing Points Day because Sergio Perez drove a brilliant race and 4 laps from the end, was it? I think it was 3.
I think it was 2 or 3, yeah.
Yeah. His car decides to blow up on him. Combusting into flames. Well, not combusting. I mean, Romain Grosjean was combusting into flames. He had a pink flame, though, so that was pretty cool.
Ooh.
But yeah, basically, his engine blew up.
Yep.
3 laps from the end.
A Mercedes engine.
Incredibly frustrating. And should have been another podium for Sergio Perez, and he is driving brilliantly. So, well, for Sergio Perez, I am going to rate him, even though he didn't finish the race, but I think he was classified.
Yep, he was classified.
So he's going to be a 9 out of 10 for me. I thought Sergio Perez, again, absolutely brilliant drive from him. And, unlucky, the car just gave up on him. He can't be
dominated P3.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't be helped from what happened.
Yes. So, moving on to... Where did we leave off? Ocon in P9 and Ricciardo P7. Ocon had a good early part of the race. He was beating his teammate. He had decent restarts, or starts. And, but classic Ocon just drops off towards the end of the race and Renault have to use team orders and Ricciardo's get past. And that's Ocon. He's gone. I'm going to give a 6 out of 10. I'm going to break the 7s, give him a 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
Being by his teammate, he just couldn't carry a consistent, good level of performance throughout the whole race. Ricciardo ends up in P7.
Probably would have taken Gasly.
Yes. Probably yes. I'm trying to think, was there any mistakes from Ricciardo?
And Renault
just having a bad day?
Renault, I think, just looked the slowest of the 3 out of Racing Point and McLaren.
I'm going to give a 7. I can't give an 8. It was an incredible drive.
Oh, yeah. He's
so
no
I'm
higher
go
than a 7.
Ocon a 6, Ricciardo a 7.
Brilliant. Fantastic. So that leaves me on to McLaren.
No.
Oh. Valtteri Bottas.
Yeah.
VB.
Mercedes.
Okay, so Valtteri Bottas. This kind of feels like... Well, he's had a poor start on the dirty side of the track. So that's on him. Then afterwards, everything kind of...
But then he went on to the right side of the track. Oh no, he started P4, didn't he? Was he P4? Or was he P5 on the second restart?
He was P4, I think. And he would have been able to make his way up the grid. But he then received a slow puncture.
Yeah, he did.
And then just... Yeah, the race really kind of fell apart for Valtteri Bottas. Very unlucky for him. I gotta say there are some days where you go it's Valtteri's fault, and there's some days you go, yeah,
it's Valtteri's luck.
yeah, your luck wasn't in, and I think that's one of those ones. I think he did well to recover going through, considering that his skill isn't making his way through the field. I think he actually made his way through the field pretty well, all things considered. And yeah, I think for Valtteri Bottas, it's probably a 7 out of 10.
7!
Oh, there are so many just 7 out of 10 performances today.
Happy 7-day, Bottas.
Lewis Hamilton.
He did okay, didn't he?
Led every single lap. 10 out of 10.
I'm pretty sure Max led 1 lap.
Did he? I don't think he did.
Maybe not.
I think Lewis led every single lap.
I know, because Red Bull went for the undercut, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's 10 out of 10 for Lewis. Just flawless. And the starts, he literally just disappeared off to the distance. And to have that, it was just nailed it. Perfect drive. All things considered, he just got the job done. Again, I wasn't sure going a 9 out of 10 because he wasn't really pushed, but
you can't help that.
I think it is just a 10 out of 10. He was flawless all weekend. Pole position, leading every single lap. Just an incredible impressive. And I think that puts him closer to the record, or he may have even beaten the record. He gets him closer to most laps led, I think, to overtaking Michael Schumacher, because I think he was something like 68 behind Michael Schumacher to start the Grand Prix, which is mental to go. But yeah, 10 out of 10 for Lewis Hamilton.
Yes, the imperfect run. Wasn't challenged at all. But yes. Moving on to double McLaren in P5 and P4. They kind of walked into that, although not really. They only gained 1 position because of Checo. But actually a fantastic day for McLaren. They were the team out of form out of the 3 contenders, and now they found themselves in the lead of the battle for third. Every time I tried to write them off, they just come back. And it looks like they could now get P3, but you never know. There's still 2 races to go. I'll start with Sainz. One of the McLaren said, I know, but it was a red flag. I was going to say front wing damage at the beginning. I don't know what. They just both had decent drives. Nothing spectacular. Sainz did well carving his way through the Renaults. I think Lando Norris, I'm not sure if he was always ahead of them. I'm not sure if he had to work as hard, but obviously that's because he just drove a fantastic early part of the race that had been comfortably ahead for most of it. He got past Gasly to get P4. I'm going to say 9 for Lando, 8 for Sainz.
I think that's fair. I think Lando Norris drove a fantastic race, didn't he? And Carlos Sainz also drove a fantastic race, considering he started P15.
Sainz brought some entertainment to those first corner overtakes.
Yeah, he did. He did a fantastic overtake on Charles Leclerc, wasn't it? That was probably...
Actually, I'm going to give them both 9s, considering Sainz started P15.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's fair.
So, yeah.
I think McLaren really had a great day. Both their drivers absolutely nailed it, had a really good day. They got the best that they could have possibly got from the day.
Yep.
And by both cars finishing in the points ahead of rivals Renault, and with both racing points retiring, it puts them with 2 races to go in a really good position to claim P3 in the championship.
Yeah, definitely.
So, that moves last one, I believe, is Red Bull.
Yes, I don't think we missed anyone. So, yeah.
It's fun. You did Haas, and I'm doing Red Bull.
There we go.
We definitely coordinated our tops well today. But Alex Albon, I think credit has to be given here. He's managed to get himself onto the podium. Yes, he's inherited that podium because of Checo's late retirement, but that's Formula One for you, isn't it? You know, sometimes you get retirement in terms of position. Should he have been in that podium position anyway, considering the car that he was in? Potentially, maybe. Also, you know, after his FP2 crash, where he basically wrote off the car and had to have a new chassis. He qualified P4 and he had a pretty decent weekend overall. You know, it's not a standout performance, but he's got a podium to his name and took advantage of the situation. So 7 out of 10 for Alex Albon for me. I think it's fair. Max Verstappen did all he could. 9 out of 10. Just Red Bull isn't quick enough to compete with Mercedes. That's it.
He tried.
Getting P2, you know, gives him a shot at getting second overall in the standings going into the last 2 races. Will be difficult, but not impossible.
Probably needs another Valtteri DNF, and then, yeah.
It would probably come into play, but, you know, it's been a fantastic season for Max Verstappen. And again, another really good drive for him after, you know, strange enough, a mistake drive at Turkey, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
This was Max back on it and doing what he does best in terms of maximising the performance that Red Bull can get and doing it week in, week out.
Yeah.
But that's it. That's it. That is the driver ratings for today. Obviously, like we said, the main thing from today's episode is, you know, that we are talking in hindsight that Romain Grosjean is all okay and he survived that kind of horrific crash that happened and is a testament to the safety improvements that the sport has made, but also a reminder that this sport will never truly be safe because, heck, you're going at whatever speed he entered that, probably 160, 170 mile an hour. It may have even been in the 200 miles an hour. You know, you're never going to make those sort of things completely safe.
Yeah, anything can happen at that speed.
Absolutely. And, hey, we're just grateful that Rome's alive. Hope you've enjoyed it. As always, let us know your thoughts in the comments down below and your scores and your driver ratings. Your driver ratings. We always love hearing what your thoughts are. Do you agree, disagree with our ones? It certainly will be good to hear about that. And what do you think of the race? I thought the race was, yeah, it was okay.
We'll talk about that on the podcast.
Yes, we will on the F1 podcast, the F1 podcast. Oh God, I hope we don't get into trouble with that now. But anyway, if you're new around here or haven't done so already, what can you do?
You can like, subscribe, and ding that bell.
Ding it! So for now, you F1 fans, keep racing!